If you ever had an idea for a resource that you wanted to create or a game but you thought it was too complicated to make, then this video is for you, because now with Canva Code, you can create anything you want and no coding involved. And if you're not using Canva already, you definitely should, but today we're going to take a look at how to use code specifically to create interactive, engaging, and fun, crazy resources. A little disclaimer before we start: you can still use Canva Code with the free version of Canva, but you are capped in its usage. Let's get straight into it. How does it work? To start, you will want to go on Canva Code. Now, once that you're here, you will create a prompt. You need to make sure to be very clear with the prompt that you're using. Specify your target, so in our case, English language students, and other information that might be helpful, such as how do you want it to look aesthetically? What's the level? What is the activity about? What do you want it to look like or to do? It will take a few minutes to create the prompt, and then once it's done, you can test it straight away. This is very important because the first activity or task might look good, but it doesn't mean that the rest of it is okay. So go over the whole activity and see if you're happy with it or if there's anything that you need tweaking. If you want to make changes, you would input a second prompt. Now, same thing, be very precise and straight to the point with your prompt. And meanwhile, you can also change the design. So you can change the colors, fonts, where the elements will show, or ask AI to do that for you. I would suggest to not overwork the code. So if it's just the design and you want to change colors, for example, do it yourself. Because I've noticed that the more prompts you give, the more prone to mistakes it is. For example, I was happy with the result, and then once I tweaked it again, all of a sudden, the image and the word to write was not matching anymore. So I think it is good and it gives you a strong starting point, but it's not perfect yet, which is why you need to check very well and your prompts need to be very good. I would give it a maximum of 3 prompts in total, because after that, it seems to be losing the plot a bit. So it still needs tweaking. I think the better testing it still. So once you're done with your prompting and you're happy with the result, you can publish it. Once it's published, you can choose to send it as a link to your students for them to practice online as homework, for example. Or you can create a QR code for the link and share it in class so that students can scan it and you can do the activity in the classroom. Now I'll show you a few examples of games that I've created and how they work. This one is a classic story dice. So you have 4 different dice with images, and students will need to create a story based on the images on the dice. This took me 5 minutes to make, which it's crazy. Because the great thing about these resources is that then you can use them over and over again. Then I've created this one to practice the past simple. One of the things that I don't like about a lot of resources that I find is the fact that sentences are disconnected. It's not a text, there's no continuity between one and the other, which is important. So I've asked to create a story for me that progresses and students need to put in the correct verb. This works really well because there's choice. I'm not telling them what verb to use, so they need to think also about the meaning, which is why having a story is important. And then the one we were using as an example, which is a what's in my bag. It's a typical lesson you do with low levels. If you're in a classroom, this is great to do with realia, so bring your actual bag. But if you're teaching online or if you want to give it as homework for students just to revise the objects, you can use this. And you can actually use all these resources because I'm going to put them in my Medium article. So if you actually want to test them for yourself or use them with your students, I would be very happy to. And you can find them on my Medium, which is Alice in the Classroom. This is it, but there's so much more that you can do with Canva as a teacher. I would be curious to know in the comments how you use Canva, if there are other things in Canva that you're interested in and would like me to make videos about. Whiteboards, for example, which I love. And yeah, if you found this video interesting, please consider subscribing to my channel, liking this video and sharing it with your other teacher friends. Bye!